Hare Krishna. In the first 6 chapters, we had discussed about living entities, about how we can elevate ourselves. We are pure spirit souls. We can elevate ourselves, and we are capable of elevating ourselves actually to self-realization by doing different yoga types of yogas. And by the end of 6th chapter, it was clearly told that by concentrating our mind towards Krishna or trying to be in Krishna consciousness is the best. That is the highest form of yoga, of all yoga. We must concentrate our mind upon Krishna, and then we will come to understand what is absolute truth completely, and otherwise we won't. So we learned about advancing in Ashtanga Yoga 6.1 to 6.9, Samabuddhir Vishishyate, stages of Ashtanga Yoga practice, then why control mind, Abhyasena tu Kaunteya, destination of unsuccessful yogi, Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe, Bhakti Yogi is the topmost yoga, Yuktamayo, from 6.46 to 6.47. So today we will be covering chapter 7, and chapter 7 is Jnana Vidyana Yoga. It is knowledge of the absolute. So we will be talking about knowledge of Krishna's energies, then surrendering unto Krishna, demigod worship, impersonalism, delusion to devotion. So knowledge through Krishna, then accept or reject Krishna, right? Who can become a better devotee. So in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is described. Jnana Vijnana Yoga. So Lord Krishna has all full opulences, all 6 opulences, right? All beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all 6 opulences. So all his opulences are described here, how great he is. So we will also see 4 kind of very fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and 4 unfortunate people, 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna consciousness, and it is described in this chapter. So far we have done Karma Yoga, we have done Jnana Yoga. Yesterday, Dhyana Yoga in chapter 6, Ashtanga Yoga we covered. Today we are going to do Jnana Vijnana Yoga, right? So there are 2 types of knowledge. One is spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is permanent, right? It is permanent knowledge, spiritual knowledge that we get. It is permanent. And the material knowledge, the second knowledge is called material knowledge, that is temporary. Now, for example, if there is a PhD or any scholar or any scientist, and he studies so much and then he dies, will his knowledge carry on in the next life? No. He has to start fresh from nursery, start from A, B, C, D again. That is temporary knowledge or material knowledge. It is called Apara Vidya. Apara Vidya means temporary knowledge, inferior. But spiritual knowledge that you are getting now, we are all reading Bhagavad Gita together. We are trying to understand whatever little we can understand. So this is spiritual knowledge. This will never diminish. In the next life also, you will continue from where you stopped. That is the advantage. This is called permanent or spiritual. Paravidya. Paravidya, para means superior. So this is a superior vidya or education or knowledge. Yet we all desire and we have material desires, right? We surrender to devatas or celestial gods who bestow, they give us, they grant us boons, right? But those are all very temporary. Those are just temporary happiness. And where do the devatas get their power from? They also get from Krishna only. So don't you think it is better to directly approach Krishna and surrender to him rather than go the other way around? Why catch the nose like this when we can hold the nose directly? So Sri Krishna or Lord Krishna here confirms in this chapter that he is the ultimate truth and he is the highest authority. He keeps on telling us, and he's telling again and again, he is telling us in this chapter. He has got many divine attributes, right? He is omnipotent. That omnipotent means all powerful. He is omnipresent, means he is there everywhere. And he is omniscience, means he knows everything. So he is omnipotent, all powerful, omnipresent everywhere, and omniscience means he is all knowing. So we have to understand that. So in first shloka, Krishna is asking Arjuna to listen to him attentively. So he will be listening, Arjuna will be listening to him attentively. We start with first shloka. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathajnasyasi Tachrunu. Oh, here, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, Tachrunu. Tachrunu means here. How? By practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So at the end of 6th chapter, it is clearly stated, right, that Krishna consciousness is the highest yoga. So therefore now Krishna is telling Arjuna, Tachrunu, listen to me now. Be careful, be attentive now, be attentive student. So there is no more greater than Krishna. So one who gets the privilege of hearing from Krishna himself will definitely become Krishna conscious. There is no doubt about it, right? Because we know nobody is superior than Krishna. So we should either learn from Krishna himself or at least from a pure devotee of Krishna. So in Bhagavad Purana also it is written that once we develop devotion, we become free from all modes of this material nature, like Sattva Guna, Tamo Guna, Rajas Guna, everything. We actually move on. Tamoguna and Rajoguna are gone, kind of. We stop running after material things, and our greeds, our wants, our desires diminish. Slowly it starts reducing. And the moment the contamination is removed, we slowly become settled in mode of goodness first. Then what happens, as soon as we come in mode of goodness, we start receiving energy through devotion. Slowly we come to understand Lord Krishna, Bhagavad Tattva, God element completely. So we need to move on from Rajoguna and Tamoguna and move towards mode of goodness. That's the first step. So knowledge, how will we get? Through hearing, right? So through hearing, there are ways to acquire knowledge. How? Ascending process. Ascending process is going up, right? So science works to some level by discovering what already exists. There are universes, there are days, there are planets. It tells us everything. Science tells us to till some point. But senses are imperfect. Our senses are imperfect and they are very limited. So it can, even the scientists, even the science, it can only perceive matter, right? Knowledge will never be perfect because we cannot perceive soul. Even though science is there, we cannot perceive soul or God. And science is imperfect. Why? There is a reason. Because it is based on humans who have limitations too. Scientists are not God. They have their own limitations, right? We have tendency to commit mistakes. We are very much having defects. And every day you will see new and new research coming up. And it refutes the previous one. Oh, now they say that Pluto does not exist anymore. Pluto is no longer called a planet. So we don't understand, right? There is a proof that they are not perfect. Every day there is something else coming and they say previous one was wrong. So science is imperfect that way because it is based on humans who are having limitations or having imperfect senses. Of course, we have that cheating propensity and illusion. So we are imperfect. We have to understand that we are imperfect. So what we should do if we are imperfect? We must, anytime we do not understand something, we must consult perfect source for life decision. Perfect source is what? So here we are talking about nobody is perfect, right? We are in illusion. Science is imperfect, as we have said before also. We have cheating propensity, there is illusion, and science is imperfect. And we are imperfect, so what we should do? We should consult the higher authority or parampara. Now here we can see Lord and his incarnations are free from imperfections. We are imperfect, but Lord is not. So anyone who can tell me picture number 1? What avatar is this?
Narsimha.
First one, number 1. Number 1. Matsya avatar. Number 2.
Varaha avatar. Varaha avatar.
Kurma avatar. Number 3.
Varaha.
Number 4.
Narasimha.
Number 5.
Vamana avatar.
Number 6.
Parshuram.
Number
Parshuram.
7.
Rama.
Number
Lord
8.
Krishna.
Lord Krishna.
Number 9.
Buddha.
Number 10.
Buddha.
Kalki.
Very good. You're all
Kalki.
great devotees over here. Krishna is Satchit Ananda, right? So we must have faith in him. But we place our faith in certain places. We invest our faith. Where do we invest? We invest in doctors, right? Because they are doing surgery upon us. In some tablets also we do that. And the driver who is driving us, and even the salon also, we place our trust in them. So descending process is what? We receive knowledge from authority, from parampara. If we receive that knowledge, that will be perfect. So what we should do now? We have to nurture back the faith. We now have placed our faith in what? These people, all this. Now what we have to start doing is, we have to nurture back the faith in scriptures that has been eroded by centuries of abuse and exploitation. Nobody has been reading it perfectly well, but the perfect knowledge is coming from parampara. So we must place our trust and faith in that. So what is the descending process? Receive the knowledge from authority or parampara. So you can see that it has been coming from Krishna, and down we can see 32nd was Srila Prabhupada. It is coming from authority. So we must always keep our trust in that. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshamya sheshatah yajñatva neha bhuyo nyat yajñatva mavashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous, by knowing which there shall remain nothing further to be known. So now what Krishna wants us to do, he is explaining. He is explaining the system of knowledge. Because why? Arjuna is Krishna's very good friend, of course, very good friend, but very, very, very confidential devotee. So Krishna wants to explain to him. Krishna will not go to everyone, each and everyone, and explain. He wants to explain to Arjuna. Why? Because he is he had surrendered to him and he's a great devotee. So what is jnana? It is knowledge. Jnana means knowledge. How do we learn? The way we get knowledge is we apply our mind. We apply our senses, all our senses to get knowledge, and we use our intellect. So we use our mind, we use our senses, and we use our intellect, buddhi. What is Vidyana? The chapter name is Jnana Vidyana Yoga. So what is Vidyana? In contrast, Vidyana is wisdom. The knowledge gained through spiritual practice. Experiment, you try, you practice yourself and you experience it. So it is called direct experiential realization because you're practicing it. What is science? All experiment, right? Without evidence, you will not say that this is right, this is wrong. So Vigyan means what? Experiential. You experience it and then you say, yes, this is there. So Jnana, knowledge, where we use mind, senses, and intellect. And Vidyana means wisdom. How do you get it? Through practice, direct experiential realization. For example, let's see. To explain this, we can say that honey is kept in a sealed jar. It is there in a sealed jar. So we have already heard that honey has the sweetest taste. We know that, right? It is the sweetest taste and you cannot compare it with any other sweet. It is that sweet. We have heard about it. But unless and until we open the jar and we taste it, we will not get the experiential realization of sweetness. That is Vidyana. Gyan we have. We have got the knowledge that honey is the sweetest. We have heard about it, that honey is the sweetest. It is the sweetest compared to any other sweet. Gyan. What is Vidyana? Unless and until we open the jar, we take the honey and we taste it, how will we know? That is Vidyana. So that is experiential realization of sweetness. Similarly, you can say Guru. Guru gives us Jnana. We approach spiritual Guru, they give us Jnana, right? Which is theoretical knowledge of the scriptures. They will teach us. Yet we need to practice. We have to practice sadhana. As per whatever knowledge we have gained, the moment you listen to everything that what needs to be done, you have to practice it. That is sadhana. That is how you can purify your mind slowly with sadhana. Just gaining knowledge is not enough. Sadhana is equally important, right? So that is Vidyana. Jnana you get from spiritual Guru. You take it, you listen to it, and then you apply. That application portion is Vijnana. That is through self-realization, right? And slowly you realize, and that will be attained. In this verse, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, he is confirming to Arjuna that he will impart to him theoretical knowledge, Jnana, regarding Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Krishna. He will also illuminate his mind accordingly about the required wisdom. Vigyan also is going to tell, he is going to impart the knowledge, he is going to impart the Vigyan along with it. So, once knowledge is acquired, there will be nothing remaining for him to know. Once we get the knowledge, we have to apply and see, right? So that's what Krishna is telling. Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchit yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kashchan mam vetti tatvatah. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Now, all of you can look at the picture. So what is happening in this picture? Anyone can tell. What is happening? What do you feel? What is happening?
It is a marathon, right?
Yes. So
We're
many
running a
people are-
marathon.
Yes, right, correct. Absolutely right. Hare Krishna. So many are running, right? What do you feel? Will all of them reach the finish line together?
No.
No, only one. Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport very nicely. He says, out of thousands of human beings, it is probable, maybe a very rare person who is interested in knowing what is a soul, what is a body, what is body, what is soul, what is ultimate truth. Very few people are interested in knowing. Human beings are generally engaged in all kinds of animal instincts. What are animal instincts? What are they? You want to eat, you want to sleep, you have fear. Hardly anyone is interested in divine knowledge, right? So most of the time, people are very much interested in what is happening here and there, all the news they want to know. So far we have understood Lord Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is Adi Purush. Like in Brahma Samhita, Brahma had already told, right? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. He said he is the cause of all causes. Sarvakarana Karanam. So it is very difficult, for non-devotees to know him. They can never understand only Lord Krishna as Yashodanandan or Parthasarathi. Sometimes even great deities, they get confused about Krishna. Muhyanti yat suryaha. Remind me to narrate this Brahma Vimohana Leela, where Brahma got into this illusion. I will tell you that story maybe later. So how is it that even perfected souls are unable to know God? What is the reason? The reason is without bhakti, without devotion, it's not possible to reach Krishna realization. Those who are practicing karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, cannot know God unless they include devotion in their practice. Everything, you can do anything, but devoid of devotion, it's not going to happen. You have to add bhakti to it. The moment you add bhakti to it, something will happen. So Lord Krishna is very clearly stating in this verse that only one among numerous humans know him in truth. Not everyone can touch the finish line, right? So only one. So Lord Krishna has stated this fact several times in Bhagavad Gita, lot of times. Even in chapter 8, you will notice that next chapter we will come to know that, he says, Purusha Sapara Partha Bhaktya Labhyastvananyaya, Supreme Personality of God, who is greater than all. He is attainable by unalloyed devotion. You have to have unalloyed devotion, not devotion, unalloyed. So he says all that. He says in, I think chapter 11 also we will touch that. Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya ahamevam vidhorjuna. He tells Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. Even in 18th chapter you will come to know. Bhaktya mamabhijanati yavan yashchasmi tattvataha. One can understand me as I am, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. Everywhere Krishna is completely telling, in every chapter he is telling. What more proof do we want? Right? In next verse, he will move on to describe the material dimensions of his what all energies he has. Bhumira aponalo vayu kam mano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtadha. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. So you can see that in this. In this, you can see this is the gross body outside. And then you have the subtle body, which is ego, mind, and intelligence. And it is covering the soul. The soul is covered by all this. So we have to go through all this and we have to move to the next one. So matter is considered as part of God's energy, right? And it's called Prakriti. So further it is divided into 8 forms. What are they? Earth, water, fire, ether. These are the 5, right? They are called gross elements with which the body is made. And then we have subtle ones, mind, intellect, and false ego. All these 8 together are called material energies. So in this verse, what Krishna is telling, that all these 8 elements are simply parts of Maya, his material energy. So he will describe his superior energy also, which is the soul energy. So now you have understood that this is what living entity is made up of. It is made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind. And then the subtle thing covering the soul is mind, intelligence, and false ego. This is the material energy, God's material energy. Apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. Besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is superior energy of mind, which are all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. So Krishna is Sat Chit Ananda. Lord Krishna is explaining over here the beyond that 8-fold Prakriti and the material energy, which he says is inferior. There exists another that is far more superior. This energy is completely transcendental, superior energy as compared to lifeless matter. The matter, if you remove the soul, the body is lifeless. So this energy is completely transcendental, right? So it is that his spiritual energy, Jiva Shakti, that is spiritual energy. But the moment that Jiva is out of this body is dead. So which includes the living souls of the world. So what we come to understand by this, that there are 3 entities, right? We have matter. This matter, the body is made up of matter. It is perishable, gone. It will finish. Then we have individual souls, right? Which is not perishable, which is there, which is going to be there. Individual souls. And then there is God, who is the controller of both the body and the soul, the matter and the soul. So 3. by meditating upon God and uniting with him, we must meditate. The moment we do sadhana, we will become more like him. The soul will be free from this world's Maya illusion. The soul is covered completely. It is under illusion. We must get out of this. So how do we get the Shakti from, the energy from? From God, by doing our meditation, sadhana, by chanting. And the moment we get Shakti from, say, Shaktiman, the God, so Shakti will follow Shaktiman. We are following God. We come from Krishna. We follow Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We should follow Krishna and nothing else. That we have to understand, that we are Krishna's energy only. Etadyonini bhutani sarvani tyupadharaya aham kritsnasya jagataha prabhava pralayasthatha. Of all that that is material and all that is spiritual in this world, know for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution. You can see the picture. Look at the bubbles. There are numerous universe, actually, not bubbles, but so many. Where was I reading? That you take mustard seeds in a bottle. More than that, you have universe also in this. We don't know. Ours is just one of them. Everything that exists, it's a product of matter and spirit. Everything. So we are matter and then spirit, soul. Everything. So living beings are manifestation of God's two energies, as I have told before also. Soul, Jiva Shakti, right? That's the soul energy, and Maya, material energy or the matter. The body is made up of that. So we'll finish the second one also then. Mattav parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me, as pearls are strung as a thread. You can see that there is a pearl, right? So here in this material realm, all life, whatever you see, it's a combination of both matter and soul. So now matter, or the dead body itself, is lifeless. Body itself is lifeless without soul. If you put soul in this body, it works. Soul needs a body. So it goes into soul, right? Into a body. So when both come together, the soul and the body, both come together, there is life. Both come together to form a living body, living being. This much we have understood. There is a soul, there is a matter. When both come together, it's a living being. So this material body is developed. Why? Why is this material body developed? Because spirit soul is present in it, right? How do we know that spirit soul is present in a body? You can see, what is the example? A child is growing gradually to boyhood and then he becomes a man. Why? If there is nothing inside it, why is it growing? The body is growing because there is something in it, right? That is superior energy. Spirit soul is present inside. That is why the body, if you remove the soul, body will not grow. So that is the proof. That is the evidence. We, the living entity, we can build big skyscrapers, we can build buildings, big factory, even a city also, and we can do many, many things. But we cannot be the cause of a big universe. We cannot make a universe. So who is making it? Who is the cause of big universe? Let's think like that, Has to be, right? The cause of big universe is big soul or the super soul. Krishna, the supreme, he is the cause of big and small souls. That much we have understood. Lord Krishna states that his position is supreme in the universe. He is the creator. He is the sustainer. He is the annihilator. He does everything. That's what he said. I am both its origin and dissolution. He is telling it very clearly in this, in 7.6. Now he says, similar to the beads. For example, we take out beads from here. I'll just show you Tulsi beads I have over here right now. I can give example of Tulsi beads. Like Tulsi beads are there, right? It is strung in a thread. There is a thread over here, right? So but when I move the bead, it can move in its place. In its place, it can move. That's it. It can't move here. It cannot move there, but it can move in its own place. It can move. Similar to the bead strung in a thread, which can move in its place, God has given individual souls the free will to act as they wish, because the soul can move like this. It cannot move completely, but it can move in its own place. He has given the free will. God has given it to act as they wish. Yet their existence is bound to him. Now, what is this? See, this beads, right? What is holding this bead? The thread. Something is holding it or not? Yes or no? Can you see this? You cannot see the thread so clearly, but you can see the beads. But thread is there, right? You cannot say the thread is not there. Even in the pearl necklace that you see, pearls are there over there. But you may not be able to see the thread. But thread is there. We know thread is there. If thread is not there, then what will happen to the beads? They will fall off. They will get separated, right? Same way, someone is holding the universe together. Someone is making the sun to rise. Someone is making the sun to set. Someone is making the moon to rise and set. Someone is keeping the planets in its place. Who is doing it? It's not man. There is someone greater who is doing this, but we cannot see him. Why? Because we don't have the quality to see. We don't have that vision to see. If the thread is broken, for example, in this, all the beads will scatter. For sure, right? Same way, if Krishna is not there, then everything will scatter. And now, just because we cannot see him, does not mean that he is not there. Just because we cannot see the thread inside, doesn't mean that the thread is not there. It is still there. That's what even Krishna is explaining over here. It's only that we cannot see him. Yes? Now, let's see if there is a cloudy day and the clouds are covering the sun. Can we see the cloud? Can we see the sun? We cannot, right? We cannot see the sun. But does that mean that sun is not there? It is there, but it's behind the cloud. That's why we cannot see. So similarly, Krishna has said, Mattav parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarva midam protam sutre mani ganaiva. This is money. The way it is strung in a bead is strung in this. Same way, everything is like this only. I have done everything. Everything rests upon me. You can see in the picture. He says, everything is resting upon me. As pearls are strung on a thread. That's the example. He is the essence of everything. Raso hamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayoho pranava sarva vedeshu shabdah ke paurisham rushu. O son of Kunti Arjuna, I am the taste of water. Raso hamapsu kaunteya. The light of the sun, prabhasmi, and Shashi is the Shashi and Surya. Light of the sun and moon. Prabhasmi, the light. Shashi and Surya, sun and moon. The syllable Om in Vedic mantra. Pranav. Pranav means Om. Sarva Vedeshu in Vedic mantra. Shabda, and the sound in ether and ability in a man. Paurisham Rishu, in ability in man. So he is there everywhere. Lord Krishna said in previous verse, right, that he is the origin, he is the sustainer, and he is the basis of all that exists in this world. Now he continues to explain it further. And in the next four shlokas, 7.8 to 7.11, he will continue to explain about his power. He keeps telling, right? Now you have seen that he says that he is Om. Does anyone know any mantra that starts with Om? You can type in the chat box. If you know any mantra with Om, starts with Om. Om Namo, Komal Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yes. Rishi Prabhuji, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Right. Any other? Anything else starts with Om? There are so many. Om Bhur Bhuhaswa, Viraj Prabhuji. Alpa Mataji, Gayatri Mantra. Pavitra Mataji, Om Bhur Bhuhaswa. Vani Mataji, Gayatri Mantra. Shivani Mataji, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Amrita Mataji, Om Namah Shivaya. Very nice. Anyone else? Yeah, very good, very good, very nice. Thank you so much. we have like just now, like you devotees have told, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Bhur Bhuvassaha, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Ganeshaya Nama, Om Ganpataye Nama. There are so many Om, right? But why is there no Om in Hare Krishna? That question arises in mind, right? So why? Because Krishna is saying over here in this shloka that he himself is Om. If Krishna is Om, then he is already there in Krishna. 4 times. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. 4 times already Om, 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 Om. Because see, Raso Hamapsu Kaunteya Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayoho Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. I am the Om in all Vedic mantras. If he is Om and we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna 4 times, what else do we want? Right? So there are 4 times Hare Krishna in that. Krishna 4 times there is. So if Krishna is Om, then we are chanting 4 times. That is why, Krishna is Om and he is already there in Hare Krishna. That too 4 times. That is why there are no rules for chanting Hare Krishna. Why, Because if you apply Om in any mantra, then you have to follow many rules. Like even for Gayatri mantra, they say you have to follow rules. You have to take bath and you have to do like this. You have to do it in the morning. There are many niyamas, there are regulations and all that, right? So we learned that for Gayatri mantra and all, we have to do that, right? Okay. So that is why for Hare Krishna, we don't have to follow so many rules, and they have made it very easy for us in Kali Yuga. Now, what did we learn in science? That water is odorless, colorless, tasteless. But is water really not having taste? Krishna says, I am the taste of water. Raso hamapsu kaunteya. I am the taste of water. In spiritual sense, it has the taste. Let's say you put some solid food item on your dry tongue. Will you get the taste? Next time you can experiment and see. Any dry food, just put it like that and don't dry tongue. Okay, no saliva, nothing. Will you get any taste? No. Only when saliva in your mouth, it dissolves some part of the solid, is when you start getting the taste as perceived by the taste buds on the tongue. So after all, who can separate the taste of water from water? That is why Lord Krishna says he is the taste in water. It is the property of water, intrinsic property of water, to carry the taste of substance. Without water, there will be no taste. Like, right? For example, you have run, you went marathon only, and you have come back home very tired. You ask mom to give you water. Mom, just give me a glass of water, and she gives you milk instead. Will it quench your thirst? No, it won't. It won't quench your thirst. You will have something liquid, but it won't. So now, next time when you are drinking water, always remember Krishna. You'll feel blissful. Krishna says he is the taste of water, right? So next time, whenever you are drinking water, just think that about Lord Krishna. Because now we know that he is sun, he is moon, he is Om as well. We see Krishna everywhere. He is the ultimate energy source. So let's see. What is he? Anybody who would like to read this, you can unmute yourself and read. Who is he? He is taste in water. Taste in water, you have to say. Yes. Please.
Taste in water, light of moon and sun, Om in Vedic mantras, sound of ether, ability of man, fragrance of earth, heat in fire, life of all that lives, penance of all aesthetics, original seed of all existences, intelligence of intelligent, prowess of all powerful men, strength, the strong, devoid of passion and desire, sex life of not odd, contrary to religious principles.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna is taste in water, light in sun and moon. He is the Omkara. So we have understood all this, right? Omkara is the sound in the beginning of Vedic mantras. So he is Om in Vedic mantra. Now we know. We know that he is sound in ether. He is mild and pure fragrance of earth that we have seen. He is the bright radiance of the flame. He is the life force of all living creatures, right? So when it comes to intelligence, have you ever thought about why some people are more intelligent than others? We do wonder, right? How come he is so intelligent? And why do they have greater brilliance in their thought and ideas? It is all due to God's grace. God gives because of Krishna. For example, Bill Gates, he changed the course of information technology, IT, with his Windows operating system. He has made it so user friendly. Like people like me find it so easy to use. It's so easy, user friendly, right? So it can only be through God's plan. God develops one such person's intellect when he wants to save us from chaos. If he wants, he will make such people like Einstein, he'll make people like Bill Gates to come up with such things. There's so many other examples also, right? So he's serene and he's sublime. He's strength in people, right? Which empowers them to think, and they become very successful, and they successfully fulfill their duties and responsibilities. So he also talks about sex life. He says the institution of marriage, the sexual life has to be, it's mentioned that within the institution of marriage, when sexual activity is undertaken for procreation, means to have babies, in line, it should be in line with scriptural injunctions, not whenever you want, wherever you want, whatever time you want. There is some scriptural injunctions that we need to follow. It is virtuous, but if it is only for pleasure, then it is beastly, like animals do, and nothing else. Just for pleasure, it's nothing else. It has to be following according to the scriptural injunctions for procreation. Yet ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasastamasaschaye matta eveti tan vidhi natvaham teshu te mahi. So all states of being, they being goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by my energy. I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the modes of this material nature. As you can see, Krishna is above the modes of material nature. This is Sattva Guna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. In this verse, he sums up the glories and he says that I am everything. I am essence of everything, and through the entire creation originates from God, he is beyond this creation and he is independent of it. You can see this. Tribhir gunamair bhavai ebhis sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhyah param avyayam. Deluded by three modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. The same thing he's saying, I am above everything. I am omniscience, all-knowing. He's aware of what is going on in Arjuna's mind. So he's talking about all his opulences. You know, we humans keep forgetting that he is the controller, he is the creator of entire universe, entire creation. He says that humans are deluded, they're tricked, they're fooled by this material nature. They come under ignorance and Maya, passion and goodness. So Maya is luring them, they are confused, getting confused. And what happens to them? It confuses, this Maya confuses the soul who are already Vimukh. Vimukh means they have turned their back towards God. By this, what happens? Maya makes the soul realize that they can never be happy. So we have to understand that we can never be happy unless we are sammukh, means towards God. We should face the God and not turn our back towards God. That's what we have to accept that. Devi yesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prapadyante maya me tam tarantite. This divine energy of mind consisting of three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered to me can easily cross it. All about surrender and devotion. If you are drowning, you look at the picture around, right? Look at the picture. You are drowning, so you will look around for help or not. And if you see a helicopter survival team is coming up to help you out, you will call out, please help me. And they are coming and they're pulling you out. Then how do you feel? Oh, what a relief. You have survived. You have escaped this bad time. You feel so relieved. Same way, if Krishna is with us, we can cross this material world. It's very difficult to cross otherwise. But with the love and devotion towards Krishna, He will take care of it. Human mind is made up of Maya, right? So no yogi, jnani, karmi can successfully control the mind so easily. Only with devotion we may. We may get this doubt. Is it impossible to overcome Maya? The second line of this verse is giving the answer. Mame vaye prapadyante mayame tam tarantite means Krishna is saying those who surrender themselves to me and by my grace, they smoothly cross the ocean of this material exist. Maya metam taranti. Tarantu means they will cross. So I had in my life also I had an example of, because I was having this fear of dogs, dog phobia you can say. So whenever I would visit any of my friend's house who had a friend trained dog, I would be scared. And when the dog would bark loudly also, out of fear, I would just stand outside the gate. I would freeze. And I would just be there, remain there. And the dog would also be there, snarling and fiercely looking at me as if, don't you dare step into the house. So I would call my friend. So I have no choice, right? I have to call my friend. And I would shout my friend's name loudly. And then hearing all the noise, my friend would come out and she would find me standing at the gate like a statue, very much in distress, scared by her dog. So she would then sternly tell her dog, hey, stop barking. She's my friend. Go inside or you come here, and it will, sometimes she would put a leash around the neck to hold him. And on hearing that instructions, my friend's instruction, the dog would quieten down and silently go inside. And after then only I would enter the gate and go inside without fear. So this example I'm trying to give, because in the same way we are in the clutches of Maya, same way, the material energy. We are under Krishna, although the Maya is also under Krishna. It keeps troubling us all the time, right? So that we keep moving towards God, but we have to make an effort. We cannot defeat Maya. It's very difficult. Only when we surrender completely to Krishna, we have to call out his name. He will come with his grace. He will help us out and he will pull that Maya away from us and put a leash around that Maya and put it inside, and we can come inside that gate. So same way, he has elaborated it further. Namam dushkritino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayaya aparta jnanaha asuram bhavamashitaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, who partake in atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. So we fail. Why? Because Lord Krishna says there are 4 categories of people who don't want to surrender. Who are they? First one is Mudha. He is foolish. They are like hardworking donkeys. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor also. They do not want to give anything to the Lord. Typical example is beast of burden. His position is foolish, fruitive worker who does not know for whom he should work. People who lack spiritual knowledge, they do not know anything about the soul being eternal. Ultimate goal is God realization. No spirituality at all. They have never heard about this concept. They are not even aware of the process of surrendering to God. Who is the second type? Naradhama. The second type is Naradhama means what? Nara and Dhamma, lowest of mankind. Nara means mankind. Lowest, Dhama, Adhama means Adhama. Nar, Adhama, lowest of mankind. He is very much low because he does not have knowledge too. They have that knowledge. I mean, they are not like beast of burden. They have knowledge. They have awareness of what needs to be done, but they are very lazy spiritually, and they have that Adhama nature, that they do not want to take any initiative to surrender. It is a big pitfall for someone who wants to go into the path of spirituality. There is a story of Jagai and Madai also. Once chanting the name of Krishna in the streets, Nityananda Prabhu was there. He was attacked by them. Those two were drunk. So Madai threw an earthen pot which cut the forehead. At this point, Nityananda Prabhu said to have uttered famous sentences. It's in Bengali. If anyone knows Bengali, they can read this. Mere sheesh kolishir kana tai bole ki prem dibone. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, but it kind of means that, shall I stop giving you love because you have hit me with an earthen pot? Something like that. So as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about it, he became very angry. He wanted to kill those brothers with his divine chakra. But Nityananda Prabhu begged him to pardon them. And of course, later they became his disciples and all that. So who is the third type? Demonic nature. They're totally, demonic. They're so proud of their intellect. They have no faith in scriptures or teachings of saints or anything. Because they do not have faith, they don't surrender to God. They're mostly very learned people, great people, scientists. Third one was Saradama. Okay, demonic. So these demonic people are those people who are aware of God. Talking about demonic people now. They are who are aware of God and their purpose for the world. They still don't want to work for the world. They want to work against God. It is because of their demonic nature. They do not like God. They want to glorify themselves. they don't want to go in that spiritual path. Surrender to God, not at all expected. Like we can see Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, right? So we can see that. 4 types of people who reject Krishna. So who are the 4 types of people who reject Krishna? They are Mudha, who was very foolish. Naradhama, lowest of mankind. Mayapa, Hritagnyana, deluded speculators. And they're like scientists and all. And Asurim Bhav Ashrita means demons, having demonic nature. So if one does not have time for spirituality, then definitely he is busier than God. God intended him to be. But it is time to introspect. We need to check what mode is active. Is divine mode active in us or demoniac mode is active in us? We need to check that. Who accepts Krishna? Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jignyasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. O best of Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render their devotional service to me. Who are those 4? Distressed, desirer of wealth, inquisitive, and who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. So in the previous verse, we saw 4 categories of people who do not want to surrender to God. Now here he is describing who want to take refuge in him. So the distressed is the one who is having a lot of misery. The pot of misery is overflowing. And he's very, very sad, not able to cope up. He will decide to take shelter of God. Similarly, those who find worldly support, they fails to protect them. They turn to God for protection, right? Draupadi, we can see Draupadi, she surrendered to Govinda, Lord Krishna, when Duryodhana and Dushasana was trying to disrobe her, right? Then second category is Jignasu, knowledge seekers. They're inquisitive, they're curious, they want to know, they're eager to advance in the process of hearing. There are some people who have heard about the opulence of God and spiritual realm. They're curious to know all about God and they're trying to seek him through knowledge. Same like when Maharaj Parikshit, Abhimanyu's son, he was inquiring from Sukadev Goswami. There are many other great rishis and they were all inquisitive. That's the proof, right? They were all sitting, listening. They were eager to learn, to hear. Then third category is worldly position. They want, some people are very clear as to what they want and they take the shelter of God because they're convinced. The God can provide them what they're seeking. Like, for example, Dhruva Maharaj. He was a small boy. He felt neglected, that his father was not, his father's name was Uttanpada. He was very disheartened that time. He went into the forest, he did penance to please God. He wanted to become very powerful, more powerful than his father. But as his devotion grew, he realized that God possessed the priceless jewel of love, divine love. And what he was seeking was only a broken glass. He was seeking a power, right? But when he realized the divine power, he was like, wow. So therefore, when pleased with devotion, God gave him darshan. He gave darshan to Dhruva Maharaj. And he requested Lord to give him selfless, pure love. And then fourth category is Jnani. They are situated in knowledge, right? So they have understood the truth and they are part and parcel of God. They are engaged in devotion. They want to know, they want to serve him, they want to love him. So Lord Krishna calls the fourth kind of devotees, example, great sages. They are anxious to go do good for the people in general. All the yogis, they come for our betterment, for mankind, right? So that's what Lord Krishna told about them. So four types of people who accept Krishna are Artha, distressed, they are very sad, miserable. Artharthi, they are desirer of wealth. Jignasu, they are very curious to know what is what. And Jnani, who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. So if one has no time for spirituality, right, then as I told earlier also, he is very busier than he's busier than the God intended him to be. So it is time to check. Please check. All desire or no desire, whatever it may be, worship Krishna. That's what I can say. Okay. First one, who are they? This is Gajendra Moksha. He is the elephant. He was in distress. So he was praying to God. So he is Arthu. So that is distressed. This is pick number 2. Who can tell me who is it? Draupadi. She is also in distress. So she is calling Govinda. Number 3 is Sukadev Goswami. He is in the womb of his mother. He was very curious, inquisitive. This one is Parikshit Maharaj, number 4. Parikshit Maharaj, he was also wanting to know, inquisitive. 5, the small child, who is he? Dhruva Maharaj.
Prahlad.
Yeah, Dhruva Maharaj. 6th one is Sugriv. He was also in distress, so he came to ask for help from Lord. And this is sages in Naimisharanya. They are all Jnanis. So
Mataji also, Prahlad Maharaj also, Mataji. Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad.
Dhruva Maharaj.
Not Dhruva, Prahlad.
Yes, Mataji. He was also the God's devotee. Yes. But in this picture, he is Dhruva Maharaj. Tesham jnani nitya yukta eka bhakti vishishyate priyo hi jnani nortyartham aham sacha mama priyaha. Of these, wise one who is in full knowledge and union with me through pure devotional service is best, for I am dear to him and he is dear to me. Of the 4, the distressed, inquisitive, the seekers of worldly positions, all of them, all knowledgeable, provided they become free from contamination of material desires. But of the four, he says, who is in full knowledge and is at the same time engaged in devotional service, Lord says he is very dear to him. So you have to have full knowledge, you have to get the jnana, and then do full devotional service. Then that is the best, and he is dear to him. I am dear to him and he is dear to me. That's what Krishna is explaining here. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. So in this verse, Lord Krishna declares that Jnani, the one who has got knowledge, spends several lifetimes, he cultivates knowledge. And only when his or her jnana matures, does he finally surrender to God. So in fact, it is the true knowledge that leads to devotion. You get knowledge and that leads you towards devotion, right? For example, I can give you that a man is walking on the beach. He steps upon a golden ring. He thinks of it as artificial jewelry. Maybe he thinks maybe it is like some 20 rupees. He keeps it in his pocket and forgets about it. After a few days, he remembers, oh, that ring, and he shows it to his friend, who is a goldsmith. Happens to be a goldsmith, you can say. He checks it and he says, oh, this is pure gold. It's worth at least, you say, 25,000 rupees. So man feels thrilled. So wow, I have found something precious, and he will start wearing it every day. And then few days later, his uncle visits him. He's also a jeweler, and the uncle looks at the ring and he says, the stone on this ring, wow, it's a precious diamond. Where did you get this? It costs at least 1,50,000 at least. And only Man is totally astounded. He's overwhelmed. And he could not believe what his uncle just said. He said, it seems you don't believe me. I'm willing to pay, say, 100 and like 1,40,000 for it. Now, the man is completely elated. He's on another level, as if he has won a lottery. So he loves this diamond-studded ring, a gold ring now, much more. Because first he thought it was just artificial. Now that he knows the real value, he loves it like anything. So what does this example tell us? This tells us the direct relationship between knowledge and love. When the value of ring was perceived by the man to be less, the love for it was lesser. As the knowledge of the value increased, the love also increased. He got joy out of it. And the joy also kept increasing as the knowledge was increasing. Oh, this is so valuable. He started loving it more. So Lord Krishna says, the jnanis, the one who have knowledge, they spend several births and deaths or lifetimes seeking true knowledge. But when their knowledge matures into true wisdom, the moment they understand the value that the Supreme Lord is all that is we are looking for, they surrender. He says, nevertheless, such noble souls, such a great soul is very rare, he says. Kamaistaistaihrita-jnanaha prapadyante devata tam niyamamasthaya prakritya niyata swaya. Those whose mind are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. Yo yo yam tanum bhakta shraddhayarmitum ichchati tasya chalam shraddham tameva vidadhamyaham. I am in everybody's heart as super soul. As soon as one desires to worship the demigods, I make his faith steady so that he can devote himself to some particular deity. Krishna says that people worship the devatas as per prescribed rituals. For example, let's say Prime Minister of our country, he appoints different ministers for different departments, right? The ministers have some powers. Locally, they may be having some powers. They do some favors within their power of jurisdiction, but not beyond that. Ultimate power rests in the hand of Prime Minister only, right? Similarly, Lord Krishna also appoints some devatas to occupy different positions in this creation, this God's creation. So they derive this power from whom? From God. They are not independent of him. They can bestow their devotees. They can bestow something. They can give some boons according to their powers because some things are under their power. So they can give, but they cannot give liberation. They cannot give anybody liberation from bondage of birth and death because they themselves are not liberated from this cycle. Only God alone has the power to do so, right? So the devatas are like souls like us. However, they have attained this. How did they attain this position? Because of their pious deeds from previous lives. So because of their pious deeds in previous life, and the moment the pious deeds, the deeds deplete, the pious deeds, they have to return back to earth. So they are also perishable. Only God alone is eternal. So he says when he finds people worshipping devatas for the fulfillment of their material desires, he helps them in their devotion. He doesn't say don't pray to them. He helps them in their devotion also. And he steadies their faith. If you are worshipping Shiva, he will steady your faith in Shiva, right? So Lord Krishna earlier had mentioned, those who have got true knowledge, they engage in the highest and most beneficial kind of sadhana. And Shraddha, that is to worship Supreme Lord. So one might ask, if why Supreme Lord creates faith in people towards devatas then? Why create that faith? Isn't it not inappropriate? So like I can take the example of my grandson. He has a soft toy, small soft toy, you know. He calls it Piku. He called it Piku and he plays with it all the time. And as if it's a real person, he will show a lot of love, affection. He will hold it to his heart, you know. And we as parents and grandparents, we are aware. We are aware of child's innocence. Yet we encourage him to play. Why? Because we want that child to develop the qualities of love, care, and affection towards other people. That's how they love. They start with their toys. They start loving, they start taking care of toys, and that's how they develop that qualities. Why? Because these qualities will help children to become socially responsible when they grow up. Similarly, our eternal parent is Krishna. He is aware of our ignorance. He knows. The child does not know that that's not, it's just a toy. He doesn't know. He starts pretending as if it's real. So Krishna also knows that we souls, we are all ignorant here and we are engaged in worship of Devi Devtas for material gains. But he helps us. He helps us in steadying our faith because he knows that's how we will learn. He's aware that this experience that we are getting, it will help in evolution of our soul. The soul will get elevated also. And once we acquire that true knowledge, that Supreme Lord is the ultimate, we will surrender to him. Same as the child's example. Sataya Shraddhaya Yukta Tasya Radhana Mihate Labate Chatatah Kaman Mayeva Vitanitan. Endowed with such a faith, he seeks favors of a particular demigod and obtains his desire. But in actuality, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Antavantu phalam tesham tadbhavatyalpa medhasam devan devayajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. Men of small intelligence worship the same demigods and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship the demigods go to planets of demigods, but my devotees ultimately reach my supreme planet. Here again he says in this verse, Devtas do not have the capacity to fulfill material desires of their devotees. They can just grant wishes. Labhate means to obtain. So devotees with a little understanding, mediocre understanding, they think that, that they have obtained their desired material objects by pleasing the Devtas. But it's not the Devtas, it's the God facilitates everything. Lord Krishna is explaining over here to Arjun that whatever you aim for, you will get that only. If we worship Devtas, we will go to the planet of Devtas. Krishna says that, whereas those who are devoted to me will come to my planet. Now question comes again, when reaching God is ultimate destination, then why does God steady the faith of those devotees who are worshipping Devtas, right? For example, when kids are joined primary school, they cannot stay at that level forever. They have to be promoted to the next class, next grade. So even though primary school is necessary, students outgrow that. They keep moving higher and higher and higher. Similarly, if we worship Devtas, that's the primary level. We need to outgrow that and move towards Bhagavan through Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is not for primary school students. It's not for just novices, who wish to attain just Devatas or demigod planets, but for those devotees who are seeking a higher purpose. So since Devatas are perishable, fruits, whatever they are giving to us is also perishable. But what Krishna will give us is imperishable, right? It's everlasting. So those who worship Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, they will stay there forever in his abode. That's what he says. So if you do demigod worship, what will happen? Why do demigod worship? Because you have a lot of desires. So what will be the result? Limited and temporary result. So if you worship demigod because you are less intelligent, you go to the planets of demigod. So what is the lesson that we learn over here? Let's not get caught only with these desires and get frustrated. Let's focus on permanent happiness, which comes by serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhayaha param bhavamajananto mamavyayam. Unintelligent men who know me not think that I have assumed this form and personality due to their small knowledge. They do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. So he's again saying the same thing, that they cannot understand me by just mental speculation. Only by complete devotion, complete engagement in Krishna consciousness, by beginning with chanting Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, can one understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-devotees cannot. They think Krishna as a body is made up of material nature. It's just Maya. Everything else is Maya. They do not understand. They're called Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth. Naham prakashas sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudho yamna bhijanati loko mamajam avyayam. I'm never manifest to foolish and unintelligent. For them, I'm covered with my eternal creative potency, yogamaya. And so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. Vedaham samatitani vartamani charjuna Bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kaschana. Oh Arjuna, so as Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, all that is yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. So delusion means false belief. Lord Krishna is mentioning two of his divine energies in this chapter, right? He says material energy and Jiva Shakti, superior soul energy. He talks about now third energy that is most powerful, which is Yoga Maya. Lord Krishna is Supreme Lord Vishnu has three energies, right? Yoga Maya, internal potency, superior energy. And there is material energy, which is this Maya. So he is telling about all that. It may be argued that Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth. But how can it be said that he is not manifest to be known as Bhagwan to everyone? When Krishna was present, only very few people understood that he was God. Like Bhishma, some Pandavas and few others knew he was supreme. Not everyone. Duryodhana and all never considered him as Bhagwan. They thought he was some kind of, he used to do some miracles, some jadugar maybe. He was not revealed to non-devotees or common men, right? So that is what he says in this verse. And Lord declares that he is the knower of the past, present and future. Everything he knows. Most of us, are forgetful. What we thought few hours ago, we don't even remember that. But God is omniscient. He knows everything. He remembers everything. He keeps all the records of our thought, words and deed. Everything throughout our lifetime, not this lifetime, but many, many lifetimes. He says, I have the knowledge of everything of past, each and every soul. He has got the record. And according to that karma, we come back again. So suppose your boss is having a meeting or your teacher is teaching in the class some new topic or whatever, and you are late for the meeting or anything due to maybe you can say heavy rain or anything or traffic jam, and you go and sit down in the middle. Will you understand what is going on? What he is talking about, your boss is talking about? No, you will be confused. Why? Because you don't know what was going on till the time you joined, because you joined late. But Krishna knows about all the past lives, present life, all your future lives. So the boss, he knew what he's talking about, but you don't know because you joined in the middle, right? So Krishna knows each and everything. Ichha dvesha samuttena dvandva mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Us kind of Bharata, who conqueror of foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities, arisen for desire and hate. We have dualities. We desire, we hate. We are in deluded form, right? When one is deluded into separation from the pure knowledge, we don't have pure knowledge. We are controlled by this Maya. Completely controlled by Maya, we won't understand God at all. Because we have this desire, due to desire and hate. The ignorant person, what does he want to do? He just wants to be one with Supreme God. We cannot be one with Krishna. We can never be one with Krishna. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We cannot be equal to Krishna. So, pure devotees are not deluded. They are not contaminated by desire and hate. They are same. They can understand that Lord Krishna, he is there. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The whole world has been manifested by his internal energy, right? The whole spiritual world has been made by him, and this material world has been made by him. They know each and everything. They are not deluded, right? They are not they are away from this dishonor, honor, misery, happiness, bad, good, bad, pleasure, gain. They're away from all this. They are not into thinking, this is my wife, this is my son, I'm the master of this house, I'm the boss. They're away. Those who are deluded by dualities, they're foolish. That's what God says. They cannot understand Lord Krishna then. Why one is covered by illusion? One is covered by illusion because of Ichha. We have desires, so we are covered by illusion. And then we have Dvesha. We start hating things. So because of this, we don't understand God. Yesham twantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam tvedvandva mohanir mukta bhajante mam dridavvrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful activities are completely eradicated and who are freed from duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. Here Lord Krishna again says it's very difficult for people who are sinful, who are atheistic, who are foolish and deceitful. to rise above the duality of desire and hate. They cannot rise above that. But Lord Krishna says, those people who act piously and they are away from these dualities of hatred and desire, and they surrender to Lord Krishna with complete determination and willpower. They do not want this material pleasure here. They are not, whatever misery comes to them, they are okay. Happiness comes to them, they are still fine. So they are very careful also while dealing with this material happiness also, or pleasures, in case they may get misled. So very carefully they deal with everything. Sadhi bhutadi daivam mam sadhi yagyam cha ye vidu prayana kale picha mam te vidu yukta chetasaha. Those who know me as Supreme Lord, as governing principle of material manifestation, who know me as one underlying all demigods, as the one sustaining all sacrifices, can with steadfast mind understand and know me even at the time of death. In this verse, Lord Krishna is again mentioning those enlightened souls who know him and are truly devoted to him, and at the time of death, they are in full consciousness of him. Such true devotees go to his divine abode. So we have to constantly think about him. But how can we think about God even at the time of death? Death is a very painful journey. It is so difficult to remember anything at that time, right? How to remember them? So Lord Krishna says, those enlightened beings who are ever filled with devotion to God, their mind, their intellect, everything surrendered to God. So only attached to Krishna only all the time. From now, you have to practice. So their bodies are beyond the pleasure and pain. And at the time of death also, it is beyond that. So naturally, he is promoted to the planet of Golok Dham, right? Golok Vrindavan. So this 7th chapter particularly explains how we can become fully Krishna conscious person, right? So at least, what we learn from this lesson is forget the past, wherever we were, begin wherever you are. It's never too late to start a spiritual journey back home. We have to go back home, back to Godhead. So chapter 7, what did we learn today? Through hearing knowledge, ascending process, not possible, 4 limitations of man. Descending process, we have to have a bona fide parampara, right? And then we learned about Krishna's energy, Krishna's essence of everything. He is all powerful. That's what we learned. Accept or reject Krishna. Who rejects Krishna? Grossly foolish, who are lowest of mankind, deluded speculators, professed atheists. Who accepts Krishna? Those who are distressed, desirer of wealth, inquisitive, one who is searching for the absolute truth, accepts Krishna. Then we learned about demigod worship. Why we worship demigod? Because we have desires and we are little less intelligent. So what is the result? We get limited and temporary results and we go to the planets of demigods. That's the result of praying to demigods. So who can be a devotee? Pious credits from previous birth. We need to have credit. We have to keep collecting. Some account has to be there. Those who have not made any sins and devotional service with determination can become the devotee. So this is what we have learned in chapter 7. Glories of knowledge about Krishna, knowledge of Krishna's energy, surrendering to Krishna, demigod worship, from delusion to devotion. So Krishna will explain about Adi Bhuta, Adi Deva and Adi Yajna in the next chapter. So Vancha Kalpata Rupashya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.